Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe, where the drip is the lead, the vibes hit different, and your latte comes with attitude. Let's go. Yeah, we brewed in Brooklyn, step inside and feel the wave. Got that latte with the attitude, drip that never fades. From the block to the counter, yeah, we do this every day. Welcome to the cafe, where the vibe is here to stay. Brewed in Brooklyn, yeah, the energy's insane. Every shot, every sip, running caffeine through your veins. From sunrise till closing, we be doing our thing. Brooklyn Cafe, you know the name, you know the name. Yeah. Walk in, door chime, everybody know what's up. Got the regulars line quick, all waiting for that cup. Barista with the flick of the wrist, no misses. Latte art so pretty you could blow it kisses. City hustle in the background, steam in the air. Sitting cozy in the corner like you living without care. Croissant so flaky it can make a grown man cry. Take a bite, ayy, that's a taste of the sky. Sunlight streaming through windows, dancing on the floor. Conversations buzzing, got you coming back for more. Each sip is a hug, each corner a new friend. In here, the love for coffee never comes to an end. Gotta love the vibe, conversations flow like streams. Blueberry muffin dreams, living out loud with no schemes. Brooklyn's heartbeat stronger with every cup served. In the cafe, man, you get what you deserve. In Brooklyn, step inside and feel the wave. Got that latte with the attitude, drip that never fades. From the block to the counter, yeah, we do this every day. Welcome to the cafe, where the vibe is here to stay. Yeah, we brewed in Brooklyn. Step inside and feel the wave. Got that latte with the attitude, drip that never fades. From the block to the counter, yeah, we do this every day. Welcome to the cafe. Yeah, welcome to the cafe, where the vibe is here to stay. Yeah, every seat tells a story, every cup's a new tale. Tune into the rhythm while the barista sets sail. People laughing, people crying, it's a community affair. Welcome to Brooklyn Cafe, man, you welcome everywhere. Chilling on the patio, skateboarders roll past. Background beat thumping, the memories gon' last. So raise your cup up high, toast to the best day. Brooklyn Cafe, life, we do it our way. So when the sun sets low and the evening starts to fall, remember that the Brooklyn Cafe welcomes us all. We'll keep crafting that magic, you'll always know the name. And every sip, every laugh is forever the same. Brewed in Brooklyn, let's keep making it known. In this little corner, you'll never be alone.
It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll-free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
Welcome to the Midday Show. How'd you like the beat? That's brought to you by Heather, a.k.a. Mona Lisa.
It's a good thing we got a music producer in the house.
I know. He looked at it. He looked at me and says, "What is that?"
I'm a little intimidated.
I know,
the history, his legacy. I'm like, oh man.
I know it's gonna be a
What's
fun.
he doing here with us?
Fun interview.
You're gonna go old school with him, I am sure.
Not at all. He's gonna teach me things. He dealt with the Beatles, and he's doing a new book coming out on Led Zeppelin. We're gonna be chit-chatting about that in a minute. I just, real quick, I wanted to point out that tree is beginning to point south.
It's going where you are.
No, there's something very strange.
Maybe there's a compass towards you.
There ain't no compass. You got weight on it and it's twisted. But now, this morning, it's twisting even more. That's the twisted T. have to put a tree twig on that thing to straighten it out.
We're gonna fix a tree, but the rest of it looks beautiful. It's just a little angled at the top. Did you see the tree lighting last night? You didn't. You were working.
I saw it.
But I got to watch the Rockefeller Center tree lighting.
Yeah, it was a little
It was more
off.
than a tree lighting. It was a whole.
One of the branches is sticking out on the left-hand side.
I don't know about that, but
It's
it was
normally
a
very
whole
perfect.
musical extravaganza of everyone that's on NBC The Voice. It's really what it was.
Did you enjoy seeing the tree light up?
I did, but I'm always intrigued on how big media does things, how networks promote within themselves to promote within themselves.
Right.
Because I'm thinking there are so many incredible, iconic musicians out there, but yet they chose, and they're wonderful people, all the people from The Voice.
That's okay.
And Michael Bublé, it's totally great, but
They
when you
went
think
high
about,
end.
but when you think about how many other, the diversity that they could have chosen to even bring in more than all the people from The Voice is what I'm thinking.
It's big business. So
That's what it has become.
So you got to pay those Bublés and Mark Anthony's.
Well, it's like then you look
big
at
money.
Wicked, right? NBC Universal, they must just have a ton of advertising dollars, the amount of money that they've put into The Voice and Wicked for Good, because that's all that you're seeing advertised. But I'm glad the book that we're going to see today has been chosen by another big network for Good Morning America, so
That's
we can
right.
diversify our media outlets as well.
It's true. And it's good because good stuff brings good stuff. And the bigger the game, the bigger the audience, right? You got the Super Bowl coming up and there's a lot of controversy. Just the controversy on that is bringing up bigger ratings and bigger watches and everything else. And everybody's going to be poking their finger and say, okay, let's see what you got. All of that is going to happen.
But when you just think about how many incredible musicians there are, I know you can't choose all of them. I just found it interesting who they chose to host
Who
it,
did you
to
want
light
them
it,
to choose?
to...
Heather should have gone up there with her rap song.
No, I think they had a lovely pick, but after your main pick, and Reba McEntire is incredible, right? I mean, she's iconic. There's nothing wrong with it, but then surround her with a lot of other people.
Isn't McEntire the one that says, are you ready for some football? Isn't that her? You ready for some football?
No, that's Carrie Underwood.
Or is it Underwood? I thought McEntire did it first.
Reba?
I thought
No, Reba with the red hair.
Yeah,
She's been around for a little bit.
She's a singer, isn't she?
Country, yeah. And then they went to Nashville.
I could have sworn I saw her
They kind of just changed up the
somewhere.
whole perspective of what, and I'm not like a New Yorker like you and Denny are, like the perspective of the light, the tree, what it's like in Rockefeller Center. Like I was missing that whole
You ever seen
feel.
it?
Yeah, it
been
just
there?
felt like it was a whole production versus really the feel of what I think the holidays are. Just my opinion. The tree was lovely, but it was very scripted.
But this is what we talked about, the Macy's Day Parade. Fox decided.
Not scripted, right?
They decided to do it not scripted. There was an NFL game where they had no announcers for the game. They just played it like if you were at the stadium. And no commercials, the whole show. They lost their shirts. Everybody
people are
started
used to
to
a
turn it off.
teleprompter.
They started to turn it off because they thought there was something wrong with the game.
They're used to the teleprompter.
Exactly. Well, they're used to people talking and things of that nature. But when I saw the Macy's Day Parade, I loved it. Not to have to hear all this nonsense and I just
I
want to see
want
the
to hear
parade.
people's conversations. I don't know if I necessarily want it all scripted. I'd like to hear just the authentic conversations
That's because you've
of
been
what people
doing
feel.
this too long.
I guess that's what it is.
That's what it is. And it's funny because Heather was telling me that she's watching things and she's looking at the production, which now takes place above what you're looking at. So when you go to
You
the
look at it
movies,
differently, right.
you look at the whole thing differently. You're not looking, the movie's great and this is, but they missed this and then the sound is not right. And wait a minute, why is that color different than
You
this
just
color?
look at it differently. It's true.
But you've been doing this too long.
But the tree is spectacular, and of course, nothing says holiday time like New York and Rockefeller Center. So everyone who saw it, it was beautiful. You got to see the reruns this morning. I sent you Mark Anthony.
I was been
always
playing Mark
great.
Anthony all morning because
Always
of it.
great. So good
It's
music.
fun. It's fun. It's a time of season where you should let your hair down, have a little fun. Tomorrow, we're going to be walking.
Okay, it's our first full week back in a while.
Yeah, it's
I don't know
time to walk.
what's that feel like to actually have a
I'm
full
exhausted.
5-day work week.
I'm exhausted. I got to get out of here till 9:30 last night.
A
Tired.
5-day work week. It's been a little while since you and I have been here for a full week.
It's funny because we had a conversation about what we do, and people not understanding the complexities of what we do. And my son, I guess he must have heard that we had this conversation. And he says, I do appreciate the complexities of what you guys do, because he's in Tampa. So Gio doesn't get to get the full feel of the anxiety that we go through in here.
Yeah.
But then he started to describe what we do for Sarah Spiritual's show. And Sarah Spiritual's been with me for 7 years. She does 2.5 hours of shows. She has a room dedicated to that production in the night and everything that goes in there. And Gato, Mr. Andrew Garcia, Gato Production, decided to take that production to another level, where she has everything embedded in one room, one area. It's all enclosed. Phone numbers, everything go into there from another room. And it's really, really solid the way it's done. And people just don't understand. They think, oh, I can't hear it. Oh, wait a minute. The mic went this way. The light turned off. They think that none of this was planned. And they don't understand just how complicated it can be. And it's just getting worse. It's getting more complicated.
It's getting, wait till you see the piece that Andrew finished for Pete Bram.
It's good?
Oh my gosh.
You know what he tells me yesterday?
Today?
Last night, when I'm tired, and we'll go home, he says, I decided I'm not going to do the Pete's piece.
He was messing with you.
I said, what? My heart went to my shoes. He says, oh, I'm not going to do Pete's piece. I'm too tired.
It is unbelievable what he did. Pete's coming in today to film another piece, but just in time, the turnaround, that it has been incredible on this piece that's coming out for the holiday season on faith and hope and God, and it's just spectacular. So hopefully Pete's going to be able to get that out distributed by the end of this week, because I think it's fantastic.
And Pearl and Lisa, all week you've been texting me that they can't hardly wait to see what Abdullah did. But I want you to check out what we did for Pete, because they're talking about doing some bigger things on bigger platforms. And all of it comes down to the editors and the kids in here that do what they do and how they do it and how meticulous they get. I've been watching him set up this interview now for 25 minutes.
No, it's been about 45.
Yeah. But how meticulous it is to get it done right. But it's interesting to watch.
I saw that dance move on social media, by the way. Yeah. They called it like Mexican dancing move or something.
And I got to wear the Mexican hat. And when we go walking tomorrow, we don't wear Mexican hats. Yes, we are.
Anyway, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got author, record producer, and entrepreneur, radio host, you name it, he's done it. Denny Somach joining us. So we're excited to have the second edition release, and yes, it's been chosen by Good Morning America as one of the best holiday gifts. If you like Led Zeppelin, you like radio, you like music, you're not going to want to miss this interview. So more to come. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Midday Brooklyn Cafe Show with Dawn and Freddie S. Every weekday from 12 to 2, tune in for the ultimate midday escape. The perfect blend of entertainment, culture, and community, all served up with a side of Brooklyn flair. It's the South Florida show that everyone's talking about.
Discover Rosie's Garden. The collection draws inspiration from the beautiful niece of the founder, Rosie, who brought joy to many before passing too soon. Her beauty and spirit are reflected in every piece. Founded by two friends, Rosie's Garden is a female-owned brand passionate about creating stunning, elegant jewelry that embodies the concept of bellissima, the Italian word for beautiful. With a philosophy rooted in grace and elegance, the brand crafts each piece of jewelry using only the finest materials, including 18-karat gold and the highest quality craftsmanship, ensuring that every piece is a true work of art.
Hi, my name is Lisa Jensen. We are here in my store on North Federal Highway. It's a store where we do have a lot of design with affordable prices. And I'm making also luxury candles, like luxury purses. We do have a main collection of luxury brand watches, and we are here open every day, even the weekend, Sunday, and every morning from 10 to 4 p.m. Come around and visiting my store, and we do have a lot for the holidays. I look forward for seeing you.
Do you remember the music of the 50s and 60s?
You better eat all your dinner, and you better be good in school, or you could end up
The
in a
songs
zoo.
that made you dance, laugh, and fall in love?
You know you could be better than a slimy fish.
The family, the food, the fun, and the memories that came with that. Relive those golden days with Peter Tracy on PHT Live, where music and memories come alive. Like and subscribe today at PHT Live on YouTube and get entered to win a free t-shirt. Plus a chance to meet Peter live in studio. PHT Live with Peter Tracy, bringing back the good vibes.
Time is running out. Enter now with the $20 ticket entry to win this year's raffle. You could drive away in a brand new 2025 Honda, Accord LX or CR-V. It's all happening thanks to Holman Honda of Fort Lauderdale and the Core Foundation. Come get your $20 ticket to enter. And the best part of this is that 100% of the proceeds support scholarships and community programs. Don't miss out on your chance to win. Get your tickets now and be part of something special. But that's not all. Our second place winner gets a 2-night stay at Hilton Resorts World Bimini with transportation on the Balearia Caribbean Ferry. With third place takes home a $250 Visa gift card. See you on New Year's Eve at the Westin Fort Lauderdale. Get your tickets before they're gone.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
And we're back, and I'm sitting in Grandpa's chair with Grandma.
Comfortable in that chair.
Apparently, I'm out to pasture.
Santa
I'm
and
about
Mrs.
to.
Claus. You know, when I bought these chairs, I didn't think anything. I didn't have a camera angle with me on.
Started a whole thing.
I would
now.
feel like Lily Tomlin in these chairs. Of course, the kids that are
Lily
born
Tomlin?
in 2003 don't know who she is, but
Lily Tomlin.
Remember?
Would the operator please?
but remember she used to sit in the big rocking chair, and she got smaller and smaller. Denny's shaking his head. Yes, that's how I feel in this chair. And you're like spacious and hanging out, and I feel like I'm shrinking in this chair. Anyway, you ready to get into some music?
Wow. Yes, let's do that.
How honored are we? So every month our newsletter goes out and talks about eats around Boynton Beach or whatever we're doing locally in the area. And Denny replies, he said, I've got a book that I would love to promote. Can I come on the cafe? And we said, absolutely. He's in our own backyard. He's a Boynton resident. Maybe they would like to go to Texas Roadhouse on a first date.
On the first date, Texas Roadhouse voted #1
He
first
and his
date.
lovely wife, it wouldn't be a first date, but we could pretend. So we've got Denny Somach joining us, radio producer, music producer, author. Get the Let Out second edition right here at the studio. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Wow, what an honor to have you here. He is an OG in the radio and music industry. He's been with the greats, Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Howard Stern, and he sits here with Mr. and Mrs. Claus. What can I tell you?
What year were you with Mr. Stearns?
Well, I've made 4 appearances on his show.
And how did you like it?
It was great. He was, he loved the idea. He had me on to talk about Led Zeppelin and how they misappropriated other people's songs.
Oh, okay.
And I had to go on and explain it. And it was fun. And then from there, he made me his classic rock expert.
Well, let's back up to classic rock and
Yeah.
your love of the music industry. How did it all begin?
Well, I was a disc jockey in college, and when I graduated, while I was in college, I got a job at a local radio station in Allentown, Pennsylvania, home of the famous song. And I graduated, I got a job in Philadelphia, and then in 1981, NBC announced that they were starting an FM radio network called The Source, and they were looking for shows, so I applied. I got the job, and I started producing syndicated radio shows, and then I got into all sorts of other areas of the business, producing records and promoting concerts, and I fancy myself as a rock historian. I also have one of the largest interview libraries of classic rock people. So lately I've been licensing the material to these music documentaries, which are out now. There are tons of them out there now.
So you have everything documented. You have all the interviews, and
I
people
saved
are coming
everything.
to you.
Yeah, saved
Brilliant. I guess you've digitized it, and
No, not yet.
You've
All of
given
it,
them
not
the
all
old
of
school
it, some of
content?
it. Some of it.
that's incredible.
Yeah.
It's so different now, right? You here applying for jobs, they're getting entry level.
Yeah.
Not like this at the source. I mean, that's a dream job to get.
Yeah. Well, it was. It was a great time. I met everybody. Saw everybody play.
And you traveled. You met the Beatles a couple of times.
Traveled all over Europe. I worked at EMI Records for a while as vice president of merchandising, so I was on 3 Rolling Stones tours in the 90s. And I worked on the Beatles anthology when it originally came out in 95.
Wow.
And you write books about everybody else. Have you written a book about you yet?
No, not yet.
The story of you.
The story
I
of
don't
you,
know
your
if
journey.
You think anybody would be interested?
Oh
Absolutely.
my gosh.
Are you
I
kidding
think
me?
that would be one
That's
of the
a
best
movie.
books.
You're talking about an icon here.
I mean, talk about a life well lived in the industry. And now we talk, it's so different with AI and people, the crew that you see, they're part of a foundation that we have here where they're learning media because they don't get the opportunity because of so much technology is taking over.
Right.
That would be anybody's dream job to walk in. When I first met Freddie, he worked with AM radio. FM was not even a thing that we were working with down here.
Right.
But you were syndicating down here to some of the local
Yeah,
FM
my stuff
channels.
would run on She or Big 105 or trying to think of the other stations. But we were on like 250 stations around the country.
You know, now I guess true oldies, right? We take our feed from New York. We get syndicated down here on our channels.
Correct.
Which is what you used to do with the interviews. He's
Yeah.
like the old school to what you do.
Well,
we
he's
do
the
now.
OG. He's the one that started all
The
of it.
interviews.
Everything that we back up on now is things that you guys have created. They just changed the delivery of it, really. You know, they got more digital, and they used to have the black box where you had to plug in into a phone line to talk to people. You don't have to do that anymore.
Right.
Everything's changed. And now there's a new level coming out that you don't even need boxes at all. It's going to be all done from some satellite somewhere.
Remember the Comrex that we had to plug into?
We have it still here.
That big black Comrex.
$4,000 later.
It's
yeah.
crazy.
The Comrex is still here. But it's interesting because it's evolved. You know, you've seen it from the beginning, right out of college, and then you went through the whole thing and you see it now. Does it fascinate you, or does it make you sad to see what's happening right now?
Everything fascinates me. But it is I'm a little blinded by science. Like when this book originally came out, you know, I was able to do all TV, radio, and everything, and I did Larry King and Good Morning America and the Today Show and all that stuff. Now, it's all, you know, online. It's not the world I grew up in, so it's very difficult for me, at least.
Well, AI can take all your interviews and make it one interview with a person making believe they're talking to you in a green screen, and you're
Right,
there
yeah.
answering questions and they line up. I mean, it's just crazy.
I'm still learning.
Let's talk about the book.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about the book. How do you get the book, number one? How is it, when did it come out?
Okay.
And what's the book, the essence of it?
Okay, this book is an update of a book I did in 2009. This is a deluxe version, 200 extra pages, color photos, all sorts of stuff. It just came out beginning of November.
Okay.
And I've already checked out all the Barnes & Noble stores in the area. I've been to every one of them to check it. Available at Amazon and all sorts of places. It's published by Hachette, which is the 3rd largest book company in the world, which is great. I was up at Sirius Radio one day, and this is in the 2009, I guess. Excuse me. And I was pitching a show called Cold Cases of Rock and Roll, where people had stolen other people's songs, and we go through the history of it and everything. And I was up there with the program director of the Howard Stern channels, who's a friend of mine. And Howard came walking by, and this guy said, "Howard, you got to hear this." So he listened to it. He says, "That's fascinating. We were talking about that on the show a couple weeks ago. You got to come on and tell us all about this, because I agree Led Zeppelin did steal most of their songs," which they did, and they admit it. So that's what started it. I did the show. I thought I'd be on for like 10 minutes. I was on for an hour. Next thing I know, I'm at a friend of mine was doing a book of artwork, and we were going to have lunch, And he said, well, meet me at the publisher's and we'll go from there to have lunch. So I go, I meet him at this publisher, and he's doing his stuff, and he says, excuse me, I got to go to the men's room. So the editor, vice president, is sitting there, and she goes, and what do you do? And I said, well, I produce syndicated shows, and I got this one show, Get the Lead Out, which is on right now. It's on in New York. It's on all over the place. And she said, oh, Led Zeppelin, huh? I said, yeah, and I figured I'd take a shot. I'm thinking about doing a book on it. And she said, oh, well, do you have a proposal? We want that book.
Just like that.
Just like that. And it's almost impossible to get a book deal without an agent. So I went home, did a proposal, and 3 weeks later, I'm signing a contract to do this book.
And that was a few years ago. That was edition 1.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's a lot of Led Zeppelin books out, but I felt that I would bring a different perspective because I interviewed all these people that interacted with them. Most people that have written books about Led Zeppelin, they weren't even born when they stopped playing. They never met any of them. They never saw them live, and I checked all those boxes. So,
and you knew them.
Yeah.
Which is a different perspective.
Yeah.
What about Led Zeppelin intrigues you?
Well,
before the lawsuit. And then we'll get into the lawsuit.
No, they're the biggest band in the world, and they have been, and they haven't been together since 1980. So they're still selling millions of records. If they ever decided to get back together, which they're not going to do, it would be the biggest tour of all time.
Wow.
They did a charity concert in London in 2007, I think, and they had 20 million requests for tickets.
Wow.
One show.
Now I got to ask you, they're never going to be back together.
No.
And you know why.
Yeah.
Can you tell us why?
Well, John Bonham's dead, and they don't want to play without John Bonham.
Okay, but they don't want to replace him.
No, well, Jimmy does. He's been auditioning people, and but Robert doesn't want to do it. And every time you ask Jimmy about it, he goes, well, talk to the singer. You know, he's the one. But I think they're very satisfied. They certainly don't need the money.
They don't need the money.
They're very satisfied with their place in history. You know, meanwhile, they still sell millions of records. I walked into the book Barnes & Noble the other day, and there was a kid, 20 years old or whatever, and I was talking to him about the book, and he goes, oh, wow, I got to get this. He goes, in fact, I got to get this for my father. You know, it's like, it's a multi-generational thing. I mean, Jimmy Page is 80 years old. Mm-hmm. I've been asked to do, and I've done a few of them, and I'm putting a more formal thing together, presentations on the band. And I got a call from the Villages up outside of Orlando or wherever. Mm-hmm. They said that they were showing the Led Zeppelin documentary that's out now called Becoming Led Zeppelin. And they said, we want to know if you'll come up and do a little thing after the movie. So I go up there and I do about an hour and I talk history and stuff that's not in the documentary, and I got a standing ovation. And nobody in that room was under 60 years old. So.
Because it's the history, right? So maybe not getting back together, not finding a new singer.
Yeah.
It has its own iconic space in history.
Yeah, but I can tell you who some of the people who auditioned, because Jimmy did hold auditions, most people don't know this. Steven Tyler of Aerosmith was the number one person they wanted, and he actually flew and did a rehearsal with them. And there were a couple other people, but he's the biggest name that and just wasn't going to happen.
Just personalities.
Yeah,
is what's stopping it. Wow.
Second edition.
Yeah.
You made Howard Stern and this whole lawsuit, this whole
if you remember,
happens.
In the early 2008, I think it was, Led Zeppelin got sued for stealing Stairway to Heaven from a band called Spirit. And the intro to the songs, the two songs are identical. And Spirit used to be an opening act for Led Zeppelin, and they were big fans of Spirit. So you can see what's going on. But generally what happens is, and I sought out, there's only one living guy from the band Spirit, and I got him to talk about it in the book. And I said to him, well, did you know that he says, yeah, we knew they ripped it off. We knew they were big fans. We met them in England years ago, but what are you going to do? It's too expensive to sue. And finally what happened was they met a lawyer who said, I want to handle that case. I'll do it on contingency, which means nothing. If I don't win, you know. And that's all of a sudden it became the biggest case of the century, musically speaking. And it went on for a couple of years, and finally Led Zeppelin won, and then it got overturned and it got appealed, and it came down to this, because I was hired as a special consultant by the plaintiff. The jury said, well, if you play the two songs next to each other, there's no question you can hear it. It's the exact same intro. So the lawyer representing Spirit and the estate of Randy California, is the guy who founded Spirit, and he's the one that started the suit, said, you know, you should just play it for the jury. Let them hear it. There's no question. And the judge said, I can't do that. He said, what do you mean you can't do that? Well, the song was copywritten as a folio, which means in writing. They never did a demo. So it wouldn't be proper for me to play the music. I could give the folio to the jury and let them look at it. And I said, come on, no jury. It's got to look at two pieces of...
Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. So it didn't get overturned. And there we go. But the song has generated over $500 million in revenue over the years.
Wow.
So,
the nuances of the industry, of the legal field, right?
That's crazy.
But with that second edition,
yeah.
200 extra pages. So
Yeah.
it was more than what happened in the lawsuit. What else did you add into this edition?
Well, I started interviewing people that I didn't have in the first book. One of them that's been getting a lot of attention recently, I've been doing a lot of podcasts, is I had Geezer Butler on from the band Black Sabbath. Mm-hmm. And right in the middle of the interview, he goes, you know, we did a jam with Led Zeppelin. We recorded an album called Black Zeppelin. And I said, you did? And he starts talking about it, and it's in the book. And that's like all these podcasts are calling me up. Hey, Black Zeppelin, no one's ever heard of that. Could you come in and explain it? So I started picking up new facts and things like that. And it's very comprehensive. I don't think there's anything else that could be added, but who knows? I'm still looking.
All right, so tell us about Black Zeppelin.
Well, I don't know anything other than what Geezer said. He said that they're both, Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath were from Birmingham. And he said one day they were in the studio and John Bonham was a fan of Black Sabbath's, and he and Robert Plant came up to the studio and when Tony Iommi and Geezer were recording. And they said, can we come up? And they said, yeah. And they ended up jamming for an hour. And Tony said, and Geezer said, make sure you don't record this, to the engineer. And he said, but of course, in the music business, that doesn't mean anything. So somebody recorded it. It has not surfaced yet, but it's out there. And someday it'll surface. It'll be on YouTube. But I was amazed at how many people were interested in that. Because
it's music, it's history, it's iconic. The music industry is so scripted now. It's kind of what we were talking about in the intro. Nothing is, you just get up and it's impromptu. It doesn't get recorded. Everything has to be perfected and mastered. Different generation from our generation, when you heard music and the nuances of what it was.
Yeah.
That's what made music music. It was the feel. It wasn't created by a computer, right? It was as a musician.
Right.
To see them interacting, the band members interacting, the life, the good, the bad, the trials, the drugs, the rock and roll, whatever it was.
Right.
That's what made the music the music.
Yeah. I also interviewed a lot of people that I missed the first time around. Like there is a very well-known session musician named Nicky Hopkins who died a couple of years ago. There's a new documentary out on him, and he just got inducted. He passed away a few years ago, but he got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in the last year. And we're talking, and he says, you know, I was asked to be the keyboard player in Led Zeppelin. Well, they weren't called Led Zeppelin, they were called the New Yardbirds. And he goes, I don't want to be in the Yardbirds. I told Jimmy, there's no way. I'm joining Jeff Beck's group. And he goes, biggest mistake of my life.
I can
so
imagine.
I got stories like that. People that had Terry Reid was the original singer that Jimmy wanted for the band. And Terry said, I don't want to be the singer in the New Yardbirds. I got a solo deal and I'm going out on tour opening for the Rolling Stones. But I'll tell you what, I know this guy up in the Midlands. His name is Robert Plant. You should go check him out. So I became friendly with one of the guys in the actual real Yardbirds, Chris Strea, who just passed away. He was the bass player. And he says, and the interview's in here, Jimmy went up to the Midland, up to Birmingham to see this band called Obstweedle, which Robert Plant was in at the time, and so was John Bonham. And he said, Peter Grant, the manager, notorious manager, and I went, Jimmy asked me to go too. The three of us went up to see this band. And Jimmy thought, yeah, Robert Plant's okay. Well, I'll try him out. He said, but that drummer, he's a must. I got to have that drummer. I don't know where he's from, but I got to have him. So that's how the two of them got into the band.
Isn't it incredible? I mean, 'cause how many musicians come through here that want that break and they get involved with a bad manager, or they can't get to the next level, or whatever happens in LA happens in LA. The stories you have are iconic. Like, I've got a buddy named Robert Plant, go check him out. History in the making, and you have it all up here.
Yeah.
You got to write your book.
Yeah, well, I will. So that's, I talked to everybody that was, actually Steve Marriott of a band called the Small Faces, later the Faces. He was wanted by Jimmy to be the singer. He said no. Well, he didn't say no. He was managed by a guy named Don Arden. Don Arden is Sharon Arden's father. Sharon Arden is Sharon Osbourne, Ozzy's wife.
Wow. Ozzy's wife.
And Don Arden was a gangster. So he heard that Jimmy was talking to Steve Marriott about being the singer in this new band. And Jimmy gets a call from Don Arden. And he says, listen, don't ever talk to my band again unless you want to play guitar with broken fingers. So that was the end of that. So there's all these wild stories that, that are out there about this thing. But anyway, it's like everything else. It's got a history to it.
It's got a history. And in this book, you were telling me about the singles that were not allowed to be shown.
One thing that Led Zeppelin did is they would not allow anybody to put out singles, except in America. They let them put out A Whole Lot of Love, because they felt that if people, got the single, they wouldn't buy the album. And the other thing is they wouldn't do TV, because they wanted people to come to the show. So a friend of mine is the chairman of Atlantic Records. I interviewed him for the book, and he goes, I got something you might want to put in the book. No one's ever seen it. I said, what's that? He goes, well, we have all these licensees around the world, and all of them over the years have put together Led Zeppelin singles, but they had to send them here for approval. And of course, we immediately had them pulled off the market or destroyed. He says, but I kept a copy of the picture sleeve of every one of them. That's what's on my wall. He said, if you want to shoot my wall, you can, because no one's ever seen these. So they're in the book. I try to look for little things that, I'm a collector myself, that collectors would like to see. And that's really what I just put a lot into this thing.
The artwork is incredible. The stories, the photography of everything you've put together in this. It's really like an old school coffee table book for the collector.
Yeah.
Are you doing book signings or book anywhere around?
I just talked to the three Barnes and Noble stores that are here. There's one in Boca. They all have the book now. I checked it out. There's one in Boca, one in Boynton, and one in Delray. And I've spoken to all of them. And we're going to be doing signings probably in January. So,
such a great gift idea. So purchase your book, bring it to the book signing, wait until you
you don't have to. You purchase it at the store. You don't have to bring it. You just,
if they want it for the holidays, though, right?
They'll set it up. Yeah, and I'll be sitting there. I do that a lot. But in the old days, it was a lot easier to do that stuff because you could promote it. I would go on a TV show to promote it. When the book originally came out, it was Good Morning America, The Larry King Show, all the CNN, all these places. Now there's no place to go. I mean, it was pure luck that Good Morning America decided to pick it as a gift suggestion for Christmas.
It's a great gift suggestion. You think about everyone our age, even the kids' age that are into classic music.
Yeah,
like Josh,
I mean, how many kids
do
you see walking down the street wearing Led Zeppelin shirts?
Right.
Everywhere.
What do you think it is about Led Zeppelin that still has the iconic following?
It's the music. The music is so iconic, and Jimmy Page is such an unbelievable producer, which people don't really know. He produced all those records himself. And his background is, before he joined the Yardbirds, and then they became Led Zeppelin, he was a session musician. He played on over 1,000 records. Everything from the Kinks, You Really Got Me, to Petula Clark's Downtown, to the Goldfinger theme song. It's on everybody used them. The Who used them. So he knew the studio inside and out. So when it came time to put Led Zeppelin together, he didn't even go out and look for a record deal. He paid for the sessions himself. He still has the receipt. $2,000 it cost. They knocked out the album in 2 weeks. Then he and his manager started calling around. And I always wondered how they got signed by Atlantic, because it's not noted anywhere. Atlantic Records signed Led Zeppelin, and obviously the biggest selling band on Atlantic Records. And I only found this out because a friend of mine had done an interview with a guy named Jerry Wexler, who's a very well-known producer. He's passed away a number of years. And he was the key guy at Atlantic. They were going to go see him. Turns out he lived next door to Led Zeppelin's lawyer. And he was out getting his mail one day. And the lawyer, I just can't remember his name right now, Steve Weiss, said to Jerry, he says, look, I'm shopping around this group. It's got Jimmy Page in it. You know who Jimmy is? Oh, yeah, I know Jimmy, the session guy. He goes, yeah. He goes, I got 2 offers from record companies. He goes, but I think the guy's an asshole. I don't want to. You want to sign him? And he said, are you kidding? Sure. So 2 weeks later, Jimmy and his manager fly over, and Ahmet Ertegun and Jerry Wexler sign them to the biggest deal at that time. Now, this is 1968. $200,000 an album, which is unheard of. And they had the album done already. So they got everything they wanted. And no interference from the label, no singles, no TV unless we approve it. Nobody from the record company is allowed to come to the studio. We pick the covers, we give the I mean, he just knew, having been around, what he wanted to do, and they gave him everything. So actually, they only had $135,000, and Wexler said, I got to get the other $65,000 from our overseas people. And he called the overseas company, Atlantic, and they said, no, we're not going to give you the money. So I had to go somewhere else to get it. He said, so for $200,000, we got the whole world. And turned out to,
he was right.
He was
At
right.
the chance meeting at the mailbox.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? That in itself is
the whole industry of what it was to what it is now, it's crazy. The fact that Arden was Sharon Osbourne's father, and you see now who with Ozzy and how her life evolved because of the music industry and who she met just growing up as a kid.
Yeah, she met everybody. Her father also managed Black Sabbath and the Electric Light Orchestra, the Animals, a whole bunch of stuff. So she grew up in that atmosphere.
She grew up in the atmosphere, and that's.
But she was always, the family was always fighting. Like they got married, and her family stole their wedding gifts. I mean, the guy was a character, the father. There's a couple books out on him in England. I don't know if they've been released here. It's called The Godfather, but the stories are unbelievable in it.
The legacy. Tell us, we traveled with the Beatles. You met the Beatles.
Yeah, I worked on the Beatles. I was a vice president of merchandising for EMI Records during the 90s. And I got to work on the Beatles anthology, which has now been reissued with updated material. It's showing on Disney Plus. But the original one, which came out in '95, and that was fascinating because I'd go over to England and sit there with the road manager who runs Apple and just hear stories and ridiculous things. I remember one story, I was sitting there in the office and the secretary says, Neil, Steven Spielberg's on line 1. And Neil goes, tell him I'll call him back. And I said, are you kidding me? You're not going to take a call from Steven Spielberg? He goes, he wants permission to do a Yellow Submarine ride at Universal. I don't need to talk to him right now. So I mean, it's just amazing that the stuff that I got to see and it was just phenomenal. I got millions of stories.
Did you ever think growing up, working in Allentown, Pennsylvania, that you would be where you are now? No. The journey that you've taken?
I was a business major. I wanted to be an analyst or a broker, something in that field. I joined the college radio station, and after 6 months I said, that's it, I'm going into music. And I got a job as a disc jockey in Allentown, and then from there, Philly, and then New York. And
then the magic happened.
Such a legacy.
One thing after another.
You got to witness so many different things. You tell the tale.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it's right place, right time, but it's more than just luck. That's what people keep telling me.
It's more than luck. It's who you are. And
yeah, but I've never had a job other than this. I've been doing this forever, and I've produced a few records. I was executive producer on a record by a guitar player named Eric Johnson. I don't know if you know him. If you're a guitar player, you know who he is. And we had a platinum record, and he won a Grammy for it. So that's my record production side. And then I was involved in some TV shows, Friday Night Videos, which was on years ago, and I did some of the first shows on MTV. It's all like, you know, stuff that I've done.
Is there part of the industry that you really love that captivated you more than another?
Everything that I did, I loved. You know, because and I didn't really think of it so much at the time, but I'm thinking to myself, I'm making a living doing this. I would pay them to let me do this, but that didn't hit me till a few years ago, because I was just working. I was glad to get work. People would call me up and say, hey, we want to do a show on this. Will you put it together? And so that's what I'm doing now. I'm not I don't think I can ever really retire, so I'm like a consultant, and people will call me if they need something for a documentary, or they need some work on something that they're working on, because rock and roll didn't disappear. It's the music of our lives. In fact, I'm working on a new show right now called Rock and Roll for Grown-Ups, which is a lot of the songs from the late 60s, 70s, and 80s have disappeared from the radio. You know, Eric Clapton's written 700 songs. You only hear 2 of them, Layla and I Shot the Sheriff. What about all the rest?
Right.
You don't hear them on the radio anymore.
Sure.
Same thing with all, so I'm taking the music, that great music from the late 60s, 70s, and 80s, and put a radio format together, and I just launched the show. It's on an app right now, but we're looking to move it to, regular syndication. So, but I have fun doing it. It's an hour a week I do it, and I get to pick all the stuff. Plus, I used segments from my interview library, and it's really a show about songs and stories, because I have all the stories. And if I don't have a specific story with the artist telling it, most cases I'll know the story, like I was telling you, and I'll tell the story. To me, that's exciting, because you got a whole new audience. Classic rock is the biggest format out there. You know, there's one in every city, classic rock station, sometimes more than one. The big shows are all the classic artists that are out there, like Yes and Deep Purple, and those are the ones that are still selling out, and the Stones and Springsteen, still selling out stadiums. It's just not going to disappear, and I'm just trying to keep it alive.
It's a story, you're right. It's the songs and the stories. Because
Yeah,
the songs you can listen to on wherever you're going to download it, but it's the stories and the history that people feel connected to.
And the music itself, like I remember several years ago, I took my 12-year-old son to see Emerson, Lake and Palmer. This is before they broke up. And I said to him, now watch this keyboard player. He's the most amazing keyboard player, Keith Emerson. Because you're not going to see, there's no band today that has a keyboard player like him. The music's too, there's some good people and some good bands, but these bands are here today and gone tomorrow. They don't have the lasting power. People, it's amazing. And bands like Yes have been around for 45 years. People still go to see them, and there's like 1 original member in the band. Deep Purple has 3 original members. It's just phenomenal. It's the music that attracts people. Because it was great music. It still is.
The stories are incredible. I wonder if when you pitch your idea, if maybe Vic would be interested in an hour a week of his songs and stories of the classic rock.
That would be great.
You're reading my mind, because we do South Florida oldies, and all you have to do is put South Florida oldies rock on it, and it takes off.
By the way, there's a lot of musicians that have retired and live down here, like Carmine Appice, who I had write the forward, was a member of Vanilla Fudge and Beck Bogert and Appice, and he's still out there, still playing. He's a well-known drum guy.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, he lives down in Fort Lauderdale, and the lead singer lives here, and Eddie Money lived here, and John Lodge, who just passed away from the Moody Blues, he lives down here. So Billy Joel has a place down here. They're all in this area, which is pretty amazing. So
imagine getting them in for an interview with him here and there. Pop it into oldies.
You got to realize something. And I don't know why nobody's done it, but all these, you've heard about.
Don't say it so loud.
You've heard these cruises, rock cruises. Okay, they all originate in either Fort Lauderdale or Miami.
Yes.
Now, if somebody was thinking, they would go, well, all these bands come down here to leave. The day before, we could book them for a concert in this area, and they would have all these bands playing here.
That's right.
But no one's thought of that yet. So.
Yeah, but you can't. You got to stop saying it, because they're going to think of it real quick.
Well, it's fine with me. I'm not going to do it.
It's funny because when COVID hit, the movie industry got in trouble because
Right.
nobody was going to the movies, right? And then we decided to hold singers in the movie business, in the theaters,
Right.
to do live feeds with the screen behind them of the videos of people who sang the songs.
Right.
Phenomenal. The problem is that you have to have a big enough theater,
Yeah.
or you're gonna have to do multiple shows
Right.
in order for everybody to make some money at it. But the idea took off. Now I'm hearing about people doing this all over the place. The bands aren't as good as they were in yesteryear. They don't have the history that it comes. But what you're talking about, we changed the game.
Yeah.
I still believe radio is the way to go.
Absolutely.
Because, and everybody tells me nobody listens to radio, and
That's not
that
true.
isn't true.
Everybody listens. 95% of the people listen to radio, even if it's for 5 minutes when their alarm
That's
goes
right.
off.
That's right. Your car comes with a radio for a reason.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's not because they don't listen
And they
to
try
it.
to take it out, and the Congress just passed a law saying you can't take
it out.
AM radio out of cars. We're leaving it in there because, it's part of the emergency broadcast system,
That's
and
right.
everybody's going to
That's
go to
interesting.
AM radio if something happens. So,
That's
So,
right.
incredible. All right, how do people get the book?
well, the book is available, like I said, at Barnes and Noble and most other Books A Million, most other stores. If you're in this area, you can go to Barnes and Noble. I've been there to check it out, make sure they had it. Or you can just order it on Amazon. Very easy. Call up and it'll be there the next day. That's
Incredible.
the best way, yeah.
What an honor to have you join us.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for having me. I've been to a couple of your functions here. And I just occurred, we were talking, and I said, gee, they have a TV show, so I don't know what it is, but I'm going to call and see if they'll put, they're interested in having me on. I wasn't
absolutely.
sure what was going on.
I think it's absolutely fantastic, and actually the honor is all ours to have you join us. Truly, thank you so much.
for letting me come on.
And maybe next time we can get some stories of what it's like,
The hidden vote.
the newlyweds.
Oh, I got
of what
plenty of
they got.
stories for. I could tell you, Bill. I discovered Billy Joel. Story
You
for
want to
another
stay
day.
and tell after the commercial break?
That's how the song Allentown came about.
All
I
right.
brought him to
Really?
Allentown.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I was going to ask you about that story of Billy Joel in Allentown. More with Denny Somach. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Working Nurses Home Care, where your private care is our priority. We provide medical and supportive private duty care all under one agency serving Broward, Palm Beach, and the Treasure Coast. From long-term care and companionship to recovery support, our nurses, therapists, and home health aides are here for you. We accept most major insurances including United Medicare, Aetna, Humana, Oscar, Cigna, and Medicare. Count on us for care that you can trust. Call Broward at 954-916-7458 or Palm Beach at 561-409-0767. Visit us at www.workingnurseshomecare.com. At Working Nurses Home Care, we are here to serve and support.
Our preschool team provides personalized education and therapy services that are specifically designed to meet the unique needs of our children. These students are overcoming medical conditions that have been affecting their physical abilities since birth. Our specialized teacher and therapists understand the critical role that occupational and physical therapy play in helping these young children to develop essential skills in their early education program. We like for the children to leave us as shining stars and enter the big world of kindergarten.
Hey, welcome to Texas Roadhouse. I play chicken with the train, play chicken with the train. You know that I play chicken with the train, play chicken with the train.
Yeah, hold 'em up, here we go. All the hicks and chicks feel the flow. Big black train coming round the bend. Go! One time.
You're listening to the Midday Brooklyn Cafe Show with Dawn and Freddie S. Every weekday from 12 to 2, tune in for the ultimate midday escape. The perfect blend of entertainment, culture, and community, all served up with a side of Brooklyn flair. It's the South Florida show that everyone's talking about.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Okay, we're back. This part of the show brought to you by Bramers on Boynton Beach. As a matter of fact, we're going to be there a week from tomorrow. Come on up, 11:30, 12 o'clock, come on up. 12 to 2, 12 to 1, I don't know what you're going to be doing, but we're going to be doing a little Bramers special for Christmas and Hanukkah.
Yeah, Hanukkah starts next weekend.
Hanukkah. So we're going to go up there, and I don't know what we're going to do yet, but I don't know who's going to be singing yet. I don't know what magician is going to be there. A number of surprises we're going to bring with us.
Imagine if John Parker got to meet Denny.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Because he sang Glenn Campbell last week. He was here, and I said, Glenn Campbell.
He sings all of that
When was
music.
the last time you said the forgotten songs like Eric Clapton? I said to him, when was the last time I even heard or thought about Glenn Campbell?
I remember his show on TV.
Sure, absolutely.
He played. Oh my God.
Summer replacement for the Smothers Brothers.
Yes.
And he's recorded one of the most unbelievable songs of all time, which is Wichita Lineman.
And it just, stories that get forgotten. But we teased it. Billy Joel.
So here's the Billy Joel. This is the one thing I get asked about more often than anything else. When I was in college broadcasting, I went to a college broadcasting convention in New York. This is 1970, 71, somewhere in there. And they, all college broadcasters, and they had a showcase. And they had 4 or 5 acts playing. They had Todd Rundgren, they had the Hello People, so I don't even remember all these bands, and this guy named Billy Joel. So I'm watching the showcases, and I see this guy sit down at the piano, and he does a half hour, and I am absolutely blown away. I couldn't believe it. His album, Cold Spring Harbor, had just come out, and it had died. So he was making the rounds, trying to promote it. So I went back to my radio station, and we had started doing concerts, some of the things that we were playing on the air, and new artists to introduce them to our audience. And I got back and I said, we got to book Billy Joel. And they go, who? Billy Joel. So I said, okay, well, go ahead. And we like the album here. So I call up his agent, a guy named Chip Racklin, CAA. And he says, Billy Joel? No one's ever called for Billy Joel. He says, in fact, I think he left the music business. He went to California. I haven't talked to him in 6 months. But if I ever hear from him again, I'll give you a call.
Wow.
So 2.5 years later, he's got a new album, Piano Man, new label. I get a call from Chip. He goes, because took the good notes, I guess. He goes, you still interested in Billy Joel? I said, are you kidding? He's a star here in Allentown. We've been playing his album. He goes, well, I have him out on tour with my other bands, Beach Boys, Doobie Brothers, Jay Giles, but he's getting booed everywhere because they don't want to hear, she's got away, you know. He said, but I have one date, November 25th, that he's off. So if you want him, you can have him. I said, I'll take him. He goes, well, how much are you going to pay him? I can only afford to pay him $500, and he has to do 2 shows. And he said, okay, because we want to see if he can actually headline a show, because he's never been anything other than played clubs, and no one will give him a headline shot. So, okay. So we do the show, and it sells out in like 90 minutes. And I'm interviewing Billy on the air before the show. And his road manager goes, I just got a call. There's a problem with the piano at the theater. Would you mind driving Billy to the theater when you're done? I said, no problem. So we get in my car. I had a green Challenger. And I'm driving him from Allentown, all the back roads, to the theater. And that's when, like, Bethlehem Steel went out of business and Mack Truck, all the industry, you know, it looked like the song. That's where the song came from. I mean, it could be applied to other cities, but he's looking around, he's going, well, what is this place? I said, well, it's Allentown. I said, the theater's actually in a town called Northampton, but this is Allentown, basically. And I said, by the way, these people are going to love you. He goes, oh, come on. They've never heard of me. I said, let me tell you something. They've heard of you. So we get to the theater, and first of all, there's a sign, welcome Billy Joel. And he looks up and he goes, no one has ever put a sign up welcoming me to a concert. I can't believe this. And of course, he goes in, and from song one, everybody knows every single song. Comes the second show, and he does the same thing. And he only had like a 30-minute set because he had been an opening act. He'd never, did a headline show anywhere. So in the second show, he's only done a half hour, and he goes, 15 more minutes? I don't have 15 more. He said I could do one of two things. I could start over, or I can do covers, which he did a Beatles cover and a Joe Cocker cover. And thing is, I taped the show on my brand new Sony stereo cassette player because I could. As a promoter, put the thing right on the top of the piano, and I recorded it. I brought it back and I played it for the guys at the station, and everybody said, "Oh, that's kind of cool." And then I, threw it in a box because who's Billy Joel, right?
Billy Joel.
All right, so 30 years go by, and I'm having some of my stuff digitized here in Florida, actually, by Tony Bon Jovi, who's got a studio down here. And I get this tape back, and it says BJ at Roxy. And I thought to myself, could that be the Billy Joel tape? And I put it on. Sure enough, wow. Clear as a bell, Billy Joel from 1973, and I've still got it, and it's amazing. I play it for people.
That's incredible.
And yeah, it's really something. And the whole time he's going, I can't believe you people know all these songs. How do you know? The radio station's been playing the record. I just can't believe it. You know it. And he goes.
He didn't know you were playing the records?
No, because the record company went out of business. It was a little company called Family Records. It was started by Michael Lang, who was one of the Woodstock promoters, and they had distribution through Paramount Records, which was probably the worst place to have a record. So the record, I think they made 5,000 copies, and it didn't sell, and that was the end of it. It's since been reissued. But, he had been in a couple of bands, local bands called the Hassles, and they made a couple of records, and a band called Attila, and then he did this called Spring Harbor album. And nothing happened. And finally, his agent got him signed to Columbia. And this was his last shot, Piano Man. And of course, the rest is history.
Have you spoken to him since?
Years ago. I haven't spoken to him in the last 20 years. But, And
you went over the story with him. He still remembered all that.
Yeah, of course he remembers because it was his first headline show. But
that's unreal.
I didn't make a big deal out of it.
No, but for him, it must have been a camp.
Well, yeah, but you know what? This guy's played for millions of people, played everywhere, sold out the Garden 120 times.
Except for the first one.
Yeah, but even his agent said, I don't think he's going to remember because it's been so many years ago.
I would bet $1,000 that he will remember because that was the first time.
What a story.
It's unreal.
I've got the tape, though, so I can prove it.
Wow. It's unreal. But these are the things, right? And then you think back, and if somebody's lucky, whoever's watching, somebody's lucky to have been there, give us a call.
I mean, the classic stories, the history, they're iconic. The music, the musicians, everything comes with it. And then I think about our crew and the foundation to give them a chance in the media industry. And it was hard then. Now it's just saturated with, and no one had, it's the work ethic also. You put it in and you traveled.
Yeah.
Different mindset.
Look, I just happened to be in a position. I was a music director at a Philadelphia radio station when a lot of these bands came out. And I remember first time somebody brought me Boston, and I heard More Than a Feeling, and I said, that's a smash. First time I heard Foreigner, feels like the first time. Those are the two examples I cite because, they would have happened even if I hadn't played it. But that's the kind of stuff that, would come in, and you get to a point where you hear everything, and who couldn't tell that More Than a Feeling wasn't going to be a big song? Or Feels Like the First Time by Foreigner. It's not just me, a lot of other people. But those are the two that I remember.
Yeah. And where they started, I remember as a kid going to the Broward County Youth Fair and Styx was playing.
Yeah.
The Broward County Youth Fair, right? It's like so old school back in the 80s. And
listen, we were doing concerts at my radio station. We did 1 or 2 a week. I'm one of the only guys. I lost money on Bruce Springsteen 6 times, okay? I finally got him to play my college, and then his manager pulled the date on me. But 6 times I had him, and I lost money on him. So there's a lot of other stories like that. But he was, you know, he was always great. It just took a long time for the rest of the world to catch up.
Your stories are incredible. I hope you come back again. Join us on remote anytime. You're always welcome. We'll see if we can talk to
Thank you for having me.
Radio.
I really appreciate it, because I'm trying to figure out how to get this thing going. I don't know anybody at the newspapers. How do you get a record review written by somebody? I mean, I don't know how to do any of that stuff.
You just got to put it out there like you did before. Like,
yeah, I mean, luckily Barnes & Noble's got it, and they have their own system of people, and they're going to get the word out. But I'm not a big social media user. I use Facebook, but I don't use Instagram. And everybody says, well, you got to promote it Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. And
it's a niche. You're a niche. You know, streaming, when I first started, did not exist.
Right.
And there was AM radio.
Right.
That started streaming.
Right.
Because I was one of the first ones doing it.
Right.
And Bob Moranci gave me an opportunity to show a radio station the inner workings, television style of a radio, and we're still doing it, as you see. It was a room this big, but you see what we're doing now. You see, you're the niche. What you don't realize is that when you put it out there, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people are going to say, I remember when, and it takes me back to this, and they're going to start reliving their stories that you're writing. So you do know what you're doing. You've been doing it. All you got to do is just keep doing it and just raise the volume on this thing. And I think you're taking me back when my brother was alive. The things that he was a big rock and roll guy. He had every album in the world. Harry played for Santana, all sorts of things. They don't understand it. They don't understand that if you were born in the 2 zeros, like we heard this morning.
The aughts.
That's right. It changes life.
Yeah.
But before the 20 in the 1900s, there was music.
70s, 80s, and 90s were the best time for music.
And if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't have today.
Yeah. Right.
You know, you wouldn't have what's going on today if it wasn't for that era. If it wasn't for what we did back in the day that people laughed, I lost thousands of dollars when they came to streaming at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then Facebook called us and they decided to launch this new concept. I'll never forget that. I didn't even know who Facebook was. It was you and Gio, right?
Yeah.
But if you take what you do and you keep doing it, because now it's perfected, everybody would join, everybody. I haven't left radio in 23 years because I still believe it is the best.
I love being on the radio. The one thing that I miss is being on the radio on a regular basis, because that was so much fun, especially when I was doing it. You could pick your own music.
That's right.
Totally different. Denny Somach, thank you.
Thank you guys very much. I
Pleasure.
appreciate it.
Honor is ours. Thank you for joining us and for all the background information. Incredible show. Are you ready to wrap this up?
By the way, if anybody wants more information, I have a website.
Okay.
It's called rockandrollforgrownups.com. That's
It's fantastic.
Yeah, rockandrollforgrownups.com.
Can you imagine putting him with Peter Tracy?
It's going to be interesting.
Right? There's so many great
Peter
people.
Tracy.
I mean, they could do total Peter Tracy.
I would
live,
just like to
PhD
turn
live.
the camera on and watch him go.
That would be so much fun.
It
We should
would
have
be.
Peter
I
come
wasn't
in one
thinking
day.
of it as I was doing it for a living, so it didn't occur to me what I was doing was anything other than, now it's nostalgic. So I'm looking back.
Still
on
a
it.
living.
Yeah.
But you're
Still
thinking
living.
people that we know that have come forward, that it's nostalgia for them
Yeah.
to put you guys together to have the conversations would be a great show.
It would be interesting.
Well, happy to do it anytime.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, join us next Friday at Bramers. But in the meantime, we're live here all night long. We've got All County You and Your Doctor, Making Money with Laura Sanders, Heartfelt Connections with Brielle. Also have Latinos al Frente. Say it.
Latinos al Frente. That's a Latin.
The
beat,
R's and
3
me don't
o'clock.
do so well. A lot of great things happening. More to come. Have a great day, everyone. Stay safe. Be kind to each other. Get the Let Out. You can find it at your local Barnes & Noble or online at Amazon. More to come on the book signing in January, or maybe if you call us, we might be able to get you a personalized book signing right here in South Florida. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. drive time.
And don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.